The fundamental error most men make is a tragic miscalculation of value. They operate under the assumption that love and attraction are built through sheer volume of attention, that a woman's heart is won by consistently proving your availability. This leads to the compulsive need to text throughout the day, to check in with a call, to ensure his presence is constantly felt. He believes he is demonstrating care and commitment, but the signal he is actually broadcasting is one of desperation. This behavior stems from a place of scarcity, the silent fear that if he isn't always there, she will forget him and find someone else. In trying to prevent this loss, he ironically accelerates it. He suffocates the very thing he hopes to nurture. This overcommunication is the death of mystery, and mystery is the oxygen of desire. When a man is entirely predictable, always reachable, and instantly responsive, he leaves nothing to the imagination. There are no questions left for her to ask, no gaps for her mind to fill in with positive speculation. She knows exactly what he is and where he stands at all times, which creates a flat line of emotional energy. There is no tension, no anticipation, no thrill of the unknown. Women are not drawn to a solved puzzle. They're captivated by the intriguing, complex one they are still figuring out. By providing all the answers up front, he makes himself emotionally boring. Furthermore, this constant chase inverts the natural dynamic of pursuit. In positioning himself as the ever-present pursuer, he implicitly frames the woman as the prize to be won. This makes him the beggar pleading for her attention and approval, and deep down, people lose respect for those who beg. It communicates that he has nothing better to do, no higher mission demanding his time, and no other options. This signals profound weakness, not strength. A woman may initially enjoy the ego boost of this validation, but it quickly curdles into a loss of attraction. She doesn't want a follower whose entire emotional state is dictated by her responses. She is instinctively drawn to a leader who is already leading a compelling life, with or without her. The man who chases essentially hands over all his power, hoping she will use it wisely. But the outcome is almost always the same. She loses interest because he has made himself interesting by being entirely focused on her, instead of being a focused and interesting man himself. Where the chase is a frantic, noisy effort to prove value, silence is the calm, powerful demonstration of it. This is not about manipulation or playing games. It is a strategic exercise in discipline and self-control. The core of its power lies in the creation of a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the human mind abhors it even more. When you consciously choose to pull back, to not send that goodnight text, to not double text after a delayed reply, to let a phone call go to voicemail because you are engaged in something else, you create an empty space of uncertainty. It is within this space that her imagination is activated. She is no longer a passive recipient of your constant attention, but an active participant in the dynamic. She begins to wonder, to question, to fill that silence with her own thoughts. Is he busy? Is he with someone else? Did I say something wrong? Why isn't he chasing me? This process of wondering is where investment begins. You are no longer feeding her attention. She is now seeking it, and in doing so, she becomes emotionally engaged in a way that constant validation could never achieve. This emotional uncertainty is the bedrock of potent attraction. People do not fall in love with clarity and predictability. They fall in love with the thrill of the unknown, the slight edge of mystery that keeps them guessing. Your silence communicates that your inner world is complex, self-sufficient, and not easily deciphered. It suggests you are occupied with things more important than securing her validation at every moment. This is profoundly attractive because it signals a man of substance and purpose. Your absence, therefore, becomes more compelling than another man's presence. It pulls her in because she must work slightly to understand you to earn your focus. This stands in stark contrast to the man who pours his entire emotional reality out onto the digital pavement, leaving nothing to be discovered. His constant communication provides all the answers, granting a premature and unearned security that kills curiosity. By holding back, you make your attention a scarce and valuable resource. A text from you becomes a notable event, a phone call, something to be anticipated rather than just another ping in a constant stream of noise. You are not ignoring her. You are training both her and yourself to understand that your time and focus are privileges granted to those who value them, not entitlements to be expected. This shift in perception is everything. The entire dynamic of pursuit is fundamentally inverted by the consistent application of this principle. It is not merely about getting a woman to initiate a text. It is a complete recalibration of the energy you bring to the interaction. When you cease to chase, you are not retreating. You are standing firm in your own center of gravity. This act communicates that your sense of self-worth, your validation, and your purpose are not external forces to be extracted from her attention, but are generated internally from your own mission and pursuits. This is the shift from a frame of scarcity, I need you to respond so that I feel okay, to a frame of abundance, my life is full and compelling, and you are welcome to join it. This is the essence of becoming the prize. A prize is not won by begging. It is earned through effort and merit. By refusing to chase, you force the interaction onto this new playing field. This shift is felt energetically long before it is seen behaviorally. A man who is always available and reactive is, by definition, a follower. He is following her emotional cues, waiting for her to set the tone of the interaction so he can respond accordingly. This mirrors a more receptive feminine energy. In contrast, the man who is grounded in his own purpose and discipline holds a calm, unwavering, and initiating masculine energy. He is not blown off course by her moods or games. He sets the tone. This does not mean being rigid or unfeeling. It means being the stable pole around which the interaction orbits. Women are instinctively drawn to this energy because it feels like leadership and safety. It feels like a man who cannot be easily shaken, and therefore a man who can be relied upon. Her test-delayed replies, aloof behavior, are ultimately attempts to see if you are that man. When you hold your frame and don't flinch, you pass the test. You demonstrate that your value is not negotiable based on her momentary behavior. This is where the roles truly reverse. When she understands on an intuitive level that your attention is not a given, it becomes a commodity she must work for. The investment principle dictates that the person who invests more time, energy, and emotion values the interaction more highly. By doing all the chasing, you have been the sole investor, and thus you are the one with everything to lose. When you stop, you create a space where she must now invest to keep the connection alive. She must text first. She must plan the date. She must put skin in the game. This investment is not just logistical. It is psychological. She begins to rationalize her own effort. Why am I thinking about him so much? Why did I just text him? I must really like him. This cognitive dissonance is a powerful hook. She becomes attached not because you convinced her, but because she convinced herself through her own actions. The dynamic is no longer broken. It is balanced. You are no longer the beggar outside the castle gates. You're the king in his court, and she is the intriguing ambassador seeking an audience. The goal is not to be arrogant or cold, but to be so complete in yourself that her presence is a welcome addition to your life, not the source of it. This is the position of true strength, and the only one from which a healthy, respectful relationship can ever be built. Perhaps the most liberating aspect of this disciplined approach is its unparalleled ability to reveal the truth. In the fog of pursuit, a man's judgment is clouded by hope and potential. He clings to breadcrumbs of attention, interpreting a delayed reply or a short message, not as data, but as a puzzle to be solved. He wastes immense mental energy asking, what does this mean? And what should I do next? This constant guessing game is a form of self-torture that stems from a lack of clarity. By stepping into silence, you flip a switch. You stop asking questions and start allowing her actions to provide the answers. You are no longer the investigator or the evaluator, calmly observing what is presented to you. This is the ultimate filter for genuine interest and compatibility, and it operates with ruthless efficiency. When you withdraw the constant stream of validation and attention, you force a decision. A woman who is genuinely interested and possesses a healthy, secure attachment style will not be frightened off by a balanced dynamic. She will not perceive your space and independence as rejection, but as hallmarks of a mature, well-rounded man. Her interests will compel her to reach out. She will initiate conversations. She will express curiosity about your life. She will make an effort to see you. Her investment will match or even exceed your own. This is the green light. This is the behavior that confirms your value is recognized and desired. You are no longer left wondering. Her actions provide a clear and unambiguous signal that she is worth your continued time and energy. Conversely, strategy exposes those who were merely present for the benefits you provided. The woman who is comfortable enjoying your attention, your compliments, and your pursuit without any intention of genuine reciprocation will reveal herself immediately. When you stop feeding that need, she will vanish. She may test you with a final breadcrumb, a vague, low-fort message, designed to see if you will jump back into your old role as her validation source. But when you maintain your frame and don't take the bait, she will simply fade away. This is not a loss. It is a massive win. It is the system working perfectly. It has identified and removed a person who would have wasted your time, drained your emotional resources, and ultimately left. You feeling confused and used? The pain of her absence is far less than the prolonged agony of a one-sided relationship that was doomed from the start. This filtering mechanism provides a clarity that is otherwise impossible to achieve. It eliminates the need for difficult conversations where you beg for more effort or try to decipher mixed signals. Her behavior becomes the only metric that matters. This protects you from your own optimism and prevents you from investing in potential rather than reality. It ensures that the only women who remain in your orbit are those who have demonstrably shown, through their own initiative, that they value you. This creates a solid foundation for any future relationship, one built on mutual respect and balanced investment from the very beginning. You stop being the sole architect of the connection and allow her to build it with you, proving her intentions not with words, but with consistent, undeniable action. The ultimate goal is not to master a technique for a short-term advantage, but to internalize a fundamental principle of character. This is not a persona you adopt. It is a man you become. The discipline of holding back with women is merely the training ground for a broader, more significant life philosophy. It is the practical application of a core truth. Your time, energy, and focus are your most valuable currencies, and they must be invested wisely, not given away freely. When this mindset shifts from a conscious tactic to an unconscious reflex, it reshapes your entire existence. You begin to approach your career not with a desperate need for validation from your boss, but with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his value. You interact with friends and family from a place of genuine choice, not obligation. You become more selective about how you spend your hours, protecting them from distractions that drain you and investing them in the mission that defines you. This is the distinction between a boy playing a game and a man living his purpose. Boy uses silence manipulatively, counts the hours before replying, strategically plans his aloofness, and is secretly consumed by the reaction he hopes to elicit. His entire focus remains on her. A man, however, is simply busy. He doesn't text less as a calculated move. He texts less because he is engrossed in building his business, honing his craft, physical fitness, or deepening his relationships. His focus is on his own path. The byproduct of this authentic, purpose-driven life is a natural and irresistible magnetism. Women are not drawn to the emptiness of silence itself. They are drawn to the substance that fills it. They sense a man who is not defined by their opinion of him, a man whose world is complete and compelling with or without them. This is the highest form of attraction. This consistent practice builds an unshakable internal foundation. You develop the resilience to sit with discomfort, to resist the primal urge for immediate reassurance, and to trust in your own value enough to let things unfold organically. You stop needing to control outcomes because your self-worth is no longer tied to them. This frame communicates things words never can: that you are in control of your emotions, that you do not need external validation, and that you value yourself. Above all, This is the energy that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Ordinary men chase, panic, and seek permission. Extraordinary men are calm, centered, and grant attention as a privilege. They understand that true power isn't about forcing things to happen, but about creating a space through your presence, your purpose, and your discipline where the right things cannot help but happen. You stop begging for a seat at her table and instead become the man who owns the table, inviting her to join you in a world you built yourself.